you? How's it in Tennessee right now? It's actually really sunny here, and it's above freezing, so woo-hoo! Stuff is finally melting. I had enough ice to last a lifetime. Hope it's nice in Tennessee. We get a nice crew in-house today. Well, some people have run away, but that's okay. We're still. You are, Bev. Yahoo! So everybody's here. Brent is MIA right now, so I'm sure he'll scoot in when he can. So I would like to wait for shop news for when he gets here for that. I can tell you that we kicked off Frosty Block 2 today, and we'll be here again Saturday doing the same Block 2. And if you're not on Block 2 and you're on Block 1, that's okay. Feel free to come in. We can keep you moving along, no problem. We also, all those little townies, frosty townies that we have out there should have all received their links where you can go in and watch instruction videos and get PDFs of your instructions and download all your embroidery files if that's the way you're doing it. So that's pretty cool. You still got to come in the store to pick up your fabric and the pattern, but then you can go and download everything offline. And the instruction videos for Block 1 were quite lengthy because we included all the introductory stuff. Block 2 will be much shorter, as I'm not going to recover some of the same stuff we're doing again in Block 2. But that was a lot of fun, and we'll continue to do that. So if you're part of the Frosty Townies, make sure you got your link. If you didn't get that email, then make sure you contact the shop, because that means we might not have the correct email or no email at all. So good for that. So, I don't have, oh yeah, I do have one other thing, paper piecing, which is scheduled next Wednesday, I think, will be much different than the last paper piecing class. We are totally gearing it around an introduction to Junie Niemeyer's Macaw. We will be creating one of her templates so that you can see one of her units, she calls them. So you can get a little taste of how she does things and decide whether or not you want to join into the Macaw family, because that'll be starting up very soon. So I believe there's still some seats for that. So it's going to be exciting. It's going to be exciting. Okay, well, he's not here for his part of shop news, so I'm going to go right to the quiz, because I'm kind of excited about the quiz today. Are we ready for quiz? Hey, Lynn. Hi, Deb. Everybody ready for the quiz? All right, here we go. This is going to feed into what we're doing this week. So let's see how well y'all listened last week. Last week, I showed you a little bit about Embrilliance Essentials. That's the first level beyond the free level, which I'm still going to talk to you about today, because I'm like, you guys need it, you need it, you need it. By the way, I get nothing from you buying essentials, but Brent's waving his way by. So I showed you something that I was very excited about, and it's when I went and I changed a color, and I changed a color to say it was applique position. And I went and I changed that for every place where it was a placement stitch. Why? Why did I go through the trouble of changing it to applique position? Music, please. Dancing by myself. I gotta be dancing by myself all the time. Why? Why, peeps, did I have to change it, or chose to change it to applique position? What happens? What does applique position do for me?
I don't think anybody knows.
Okay, Bev?
Well, that would make you to have the thread stop so as you know where you're going. So
Oh, good guess, Jean. Not quite.
Okay.
Makes the machine what? Bev, I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. I said it would help you and that it would stop when it's done that.
Okay. Bev says it will help you because it will stop when it's done that.
That was good answer.
Jean says everything that would stitch out in that color does it all at once. Now, come on, peeps. Nobody? You're going to see it again today then. It creates an SVG file. You can then put out the entire SVG file and cut it on any of your electronic devices just by labeling that color as an applique position.
Aw.
It will automatically create SVGs. That's big! That's really, really big! Darn, I don't have a winner today. Lynn, what's the matter with you? All right, well, I guess I get it. Is it come to me now? Is that the rule? Comes to me? Or do I make another quiz? No. Too hard? Nobody. Okay, well,
It wasn't too hard.
it wasn't
Just-
too hard.
I think
Was that
lost
too hard,
people.
people? I lost people?
Maybe.
Oh, you mean
Not
you fell
everybody has a
asleep at
cutting
the
machine.
wheel? Yeah, I know, but I do. And I love them. Okay. Well, let's move on to the next brainstorm of
I'm
Beck.
coming,
Oh,
I'm
he's
coming.
coming. He's going to
I'm
save my
coming.
butt.
I'm sorry.
Nobody got my quiz this week. I'm really frustrated.
Oh, it's because nobody watched last week.
That's not nice.
We have people on Rumble now, though.
Woo! We're on Rumble?
We're on Rumble, yeah.
We need to do your shop news.
What
What is Rumble? Do I even want to know what Rumble
It's like an
is?
alternative to
That
Facebook. It's an
sounds like
alternative
a
to YouTube.
gangster site.
No,
It
it's
is.
awesome.
Okay.
I didn't know we were
It's,
on
it's where
Rumble.
people like Danny go because
I
they're
do.
protesting YouTube.
I am.
Oh, I didn't know there was such a thing. That's so.
So anyway, yeah,
I
I have
am.
no. What have we done? Anything? I'm sorry, I got
I
sidetracked.
talked about classes. I was hoping you would introduce the lovely material
Oh,
that
yes.
came in.
Yes, we have lovely material, and we have the
The panel's there too.
panel. Yeah, the panel
Oop.
just dropped. Well, we'll start with the panel.
Don't.
Let's lead off with the panel.
Hey, congratulations! Your shirt was long enough today.
You know, I think there's a website for that. You know, I'm in the wrong industry. I gotta find that website.
You can probably make a lot of money.
Yeah, look at me. I'm
T-shirt
dead
man.
sexy.
T-shirt.
So anyway, this is the panel. It's a nice Asian-inspired collection. So that's the panel, and then the coordinates are really nice. Look at that, and it's got a little bit of metallic in there. And it,
That's not showing up so well on our cameras, but it really
Yeah,
is. It's
it's
like
got
a
a little
gold
bit-
outline.
and the sad thing is,
Delicate,
I was
delicate.
sad. I was very sad when I was checking this stuff in, because we had to go up to $11.95. It really hurt my soul.
Who makes this?
It hurts
And
all our
to get an
toes.
idea of the size of that flower, that's my giant gorilla mitt next to it. That is a huge print. So it'll make a nice back or a fantastic, you could use this as like a focal print. You could cut like 12-inch squares out of that and have a really nice flower. And then the rest are just kind of coordinates. Just a nice black. There is a pattern that goes with this that Brenda's actually started.
Poor Brenda.
Which one?
And Riley and Eddie had one they were going to make too. Were you guys still making that? And this is coming through kind of green, I think, but it's a nice
It's
yellow.
not. It's not green at all.
Yeah.
It's like a yellow gold.
Yeah, it's a yellow gold. But anyway, so this came in. It's available on the website.
And that's more of a coral.
Yeah, it's a nice coral. So this is all available on the website. $11.95 a yard.
It's the world.
It's the way things are going.
It is.
So
it is
that's
absolutely the
that's
way things are going.
all the new stuff we have in. The only other thing we got going on, I did get a BQ 950 sewing machine come in. It's not the 1350 that we love. It's the step down, so it's missing the pivot function, but it's really the only machine that brother had in stock, so I had him send me one. I think I got another one coming in. So if you are looking for a new sewing machine, I do have stock on a couple at this point. And then the other thing is we will probably have a dream machine available next week. I already have a name on it, but if she decides she doesn't want it, I can add you to the list if it's something you're interested in.
Don't even bother. You know it's gone.
Well, I'm just, we will have a dream machine available. Like I said, it's probably already sold, and I don't know if she's teaching, so, but it's probably already sold. But we may have one available. So if it's something you're interested in, hit us up, and if that falls through, we'll have a dream machine for you. So that was I totally spaced on Quilt of the Week. So
Dee and I did say your hello, and I did a shout out, so you missed my shout out. Let's be honest. You said hello, you signed in, and you went out to lunch. It's okay.
Uh-oh, I got the
I was asking you about Tennessee weather.
Tennessee weather.
What Tennessee weather?
Oh yeah, that's what I was going to do for Quilt of the Week.
And he's saved again by one of his hero members.
Well, I was going to do this, and then I forgot to grab it because I got sidetracked. Because I imagine we already did quiz time, so I'm going to go to Quilt of the Week.
I wish I had a camera that I could turn on you guys.
No.
Like, to
We
say,
That is
Eddie's
so cute.
Eddie's moved up from cardboard to
So
penguin.
this is a we have
That
this is the sample that Brenda just finished up. Can you zoom that out at all to get this whole thing in
Oh,
there?
it's like Easter.
It's a fun little Easter quilt. The panel is fussy cut. The pattern calls for 5-inch squares. We brought in the layer cakes, so you'll have a lot of leftovers to make all sorts of fun stuff because layer cakes are easier to sell than the
So
5-inch
she
squares.
fussy cutted these little guys.
Those get fussy cut out of the panel.
Out of the panel.
The
Oh,
panel
cute.
has these up on the top and bottom. So
Okay.
when you fussy cut the center of the panel out, then you get the rest of the little animals.
Oh, that's
So
really
that's
cute.
so that's actually we have this available. We have the fabric to make this now in the shop. So if it's something you're interested in, shoot us an email or stop in the shop and we can get you a kit made up.
Stop in the shop.
Stop in the shop.
Stop in the shop.
Okay.
That's cute.
So that's Quilt of the Week. Yay for that.
Nice.
Look at that. Look at that. A nice recovery, and we're only 10 minutes in.
We know how.
We know how.
We know how.
We know how it rolls. Okay, so there's
Yeah.
that. That is all I've got. So that brings us over to the turbo tip.
Which I want to wait on and do with my,
Okay.
because it's sort of like works together.
Okay, so that means I'm going to WorkBench.
Well, you are. You're headed to WorkBench.
Okay. We're going to talk about the myth.
The myth.
I think we've talked about
Do
this
we need to
before.
move this so you can do your WorkBench?
I can probably work around it. I'll probably go in front and that'll
Okay. All right. Good.
So the myth that
Pick
we're going
it
to talk about, I'm sure we've talked about this before, is metal versus plastic, and I thought I'd bring it up again because I had somebody stop in with a machine that another repair person didn't even want to touch. They looked at the model, the timing was off, and they're like, your gears are broken, and then that led to the whole discussion of plastic versus metal because the other machine she had actually had a broken gear in it, and so I just wanted to talk about that. Everybody's the old school myth that metal is better than plastic is not true. When it comes to sewing machines, what happened was that when Singer transitioned from their metal gears to their plastic gears, it was in the early stages of what do they call them, polymers. So the plastic sucked, and
So it used to be true.
it used to
It
be
used
true.
to be
Well,
true.
and the problem was also compounded by the fact that the lubricants that they were using for metal gears actually degraded the plastic gears because because the way the polymers were made back then. So it was a combination of the plastic was kind of iffy in the first place,
Yeah.
but it probably would have worked fine if you didn't lubricate it because the greases and the oils are what killed it. But newer machines, there's probably no metal gears in them at all. There might be one or two, but there's none. Most of them are a nice nylon composite. They're really nice self-lubricating, makes them lighter. The other nice thing about a plastic gear versus a metal gear is plastic breaks and you can see the problem. Metal bends, and it bends on a machine like this, the tolerances can be tight, and just a little bend in a shaft or a gear tooth will jam your machine up and it'll be next to impossible to find. But what I really wanted to show you all was the myth, or not the myth, what led to this entire...
There's piece of my chickens were on the floor.
Can you zoom into this right here, Eddie?
Keep losing them. I'm going to not have all my pieces.
That right there. This is a Singer, I can't remember the model. It's related to the touch and sew is going to be very similar to this. And what you've got down here is there's two gears. These were the gears that often would break on these machines. This gear here, you would lose the teeth on that, and then you can't really, let me see if I can change the angle a little bit so you can see that one. And then the gear up here is where you'd lose the teeth. So this is where that plastic gears are awful stuff comes from, is these machines, these two gears here would actually get stripped out. And there's actually a gear kit you can buy to swap these out. It was so prevalent. You can still buy them on Amazon, and this machine is like 40 years old.
Whoa.
So that should tell you what you need to know about these machines. Now there's another version of this where instead of rotating, it actually swings. If I rotate if I can do this, so as I rotate that whole thing. So those are circular. There is another version of this machine where this actually swings instead of rotates, and that gear will sometimes get stripped. And what'll often happen is you'll find that there's teeth missing on these. So if you ever have a machine like this, the bottom is easy to pull off, and you can just look at the gears and see if the teeth are missing. But that's where the metal versus plastic issue came from. Is these gears used to strip out pretty frequently. Usually, the time frame on it was usually within 5 or 6 years of being new, because of if you use the wrong lubricant. Not all of them did it, because it would depend what you were using for lubricants. But that would strip those out.
Wow.
And the other one that I saw is this down. And then this one
What's that gunk in there?
for-
Is that
that's all
debris
grease.
or grease?
That's all
That's grease.
And the other one, this is your feed dog. And I've actually saw this for the first time this week. Was this gear here actually stripped out on a machine? And so the feed dogs weren't working. But it was about the same vintage. I usually see these gears go, but the feed dog one made of the same material, so you grease it up, it could go as well. But that's where that comes from. If you've got something that looks like this,
I think I learned on something that looks
yeah, these
like
were very
that.
popular. There's a ton of them out there. There's a couple different versions of it, but the shape is pretty similar to this. All of those, the newer ones, this is a newer one, running into that problem. The older ones are the ones where you ran into that issue. The Touch and Sew series was famous for this. Well, not necessarily all the Touch and Sews, because
Boy,
some of them
we've
use the
come a
belt.
long way.
But that is where the metal versus plastic.
Reverse, forward.
Yeah, that's where the metal versus plastic comes from. Is those two gears would get stripped out, and it's not necessarily true anymore. In fact, most of your new machines, that's almost some of them that's actually a closed unit, especially like on a Husqvarna or a Viking. That's actually the whole thing is sealed, and you can't get at that because that gear set is so important. But if you skip a tooth in there, then your timing goes. There's all sorts of fun stuff that happens. But anyway, that was the workbench for today.
Interesting.
Just in case you wanted more useless information to fill your head, I'm sharing my useless information with you.
Hi, John. Okay, so back to me, right?
Plastic, good on sewing machines, bad on cars.
Delivery guy interrupted.
No.
The old UPS man, Deanna said.
The old.
The old UPS man.
And do you have to do what is it? The bend pop? Is that?
All right. Is it back to me?
I guess it's back to you.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, I told you.
What's our subscriber count at? Do we break-
Juju had some great
407.
chickens. So I went out and got me some chickens.
Oh, complete side note, but I'm thinking of it, so I'm going to say it real quick.
Go ahead.
We did you talk about the video of Frosty? I forgot to talk
Yeah.
about this in Shop News. Okay, I already
Yeah.
talked about that. We did the video, and if you're in Frosty, that'll be available.
That's old news.
Okay.
It's old
I'm
news.
just saying.
Alright, start over.
Okay, so this here is one of Juju's designs. It's a placemat. And when you buy it, you get two different sizes. One's in a 6x10 hoop, one's in a 5x7 hoop. So the finished size of the 6x10 version finishes at, I wrote this down somewhere. Oh, drat. Well, it's bigger.
10 by 15 and a half.
Oh,
That's
thank you. There you go. I can't read it from here, but Danny can. And the 5x7 hoop finishes at
Oh no, that was the 5.
10 by 15 and a half.
Yep.
Okay. And
For
the
a
6
5 by 7, that's bigger than the hoop.
Yeah, but I'm going to explain. The 6x10 finished size of the placemat is 12 1/4 by 18 1/2. Well, Becky says, okay, the 5x7 size is just fine and dandy for me, the finished size. But I do have a bigger hoop, like many of you have a bigger hoop. Now, can you go back there, Ed? What Designs by Juju and just about everybody else does is each one of these little blocks, and count them, there are 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
I love that you're pointing to the back of this
Right.
page so nobody can see what you're talking about.
Can y'all count to 6? Because Brent can't.
No, but I'm watching your hand.
You're
Nobody-
pointing.
There
yeah,
are
nobody can
3
see.
chicken blocks.
There you
I'm
go.
just saying that I can see you going through the
I
motions
can't,
back
this
here.
is too, there's 6 blocks. They have you hoop, stabilizer, bring up the design, mark out where the batting goes,
So
trims the batting.
So you're getting two hoopings for each block here, is what you're saying?
Yeah,
So there's 2 there and then 2 there. Okay.
yeah. 3 chickens and 3 accent blocks. There, how's that sound? Now, some of you will go, well,
Chicken
Becky,
pot pie.
some of you will say I can combine those in one hoop, blah, de, blah, blah. That's true. But you'll still end up with stuff that has stabilizer in it, small pieces of batting, oversized fabric, then you then trim down. And I said, self, I got me a scanner. So I got a bigger hoop too, but I got me a scanner. And so do you Dream Machine people, and so do you Stellaire people. What?
I'm just thinking when you say I have a scanner, all I'm picturing is that guy by the scanner, like old school, like listening for the police report. And like,
Okay, no.
Oh.
In my machine, I have it. So
Oh, that's Ethel's house that just called the scanner
Dream
too. I
Machine
wonder if
has a
she's all
scanner.
right.
We have a scanner this Solera.
Yeah.
I didn't say Solera. I said Stellaire. What is the next step up of the Dream Machine got replaced
The
by
Stellaire.
Stellaire.
But the scanner
can-
isn't built in.
No, it isn't built in, but it still has.
Yeah, it has
it has the
imaging.
same feature
It has
as the imaging.
Yes, it has
So
imaging
anything
capabilities.
Dream Machine and up.
Yeah.
So, but of course I went, oh, I have a luminaire. So if I'm making placemats that are smaller than my biggest hoop,
Just do the whole thing in the ginormous hoop.
yeah.
Okay.
Have you done that? Because I had an aha moment on this, people. I went, why didn't I think of
I
this
just
earlier?
sell these things. I
For
don't play
like
with them.
every project we've been doing, like the Kimberbell stuff, how many little blocks do we make and then we cut them all out and then we sew them all back together? And inside of every single one, we have all this stabilizer and all this batting, and the seams are hard to get right and they're hard to match up, and it drives me nuts.
And you use a lot of
And you
stabilizer.
waste a lot of material, which Danny hates
I
doing.
hate it.
So, hi Anita, yay! So what did I decide? I
Sometimes
was
I feel
going
like I
to
should
try.
apologize when people say I'm watching. I'm sorry.
What was I going to try? Look what I did. I took my little blocks and I sewed them together first.
Uh-oh.
And I interfaced them because I don't want to use stabilizer. What?
I'm just saying uh-oh.
So and then I took this
He likes to make me edit.
and I put it on a big piece of batting. Now, you could float this if you had a smaller hoop. You could do more than one hooping of this. I'm special. I have a luminaire, so I can actually hoop the whole thing in one shot. Is that cool? Now, I actually took it a step further.
And I just wanted to point that out because when you said you had sewed it together, one of the things I was thinking immediately is you didn't leave enough space to hoop it. But because you're free floating it on you don't need to worry about.
Don't you think? I think of
Oh, I
these
know,
things.
I'm just
Brent.
pointing this out for people to consider.
It's basted to my batting, and in addition, I used my favorite 3M cheesy tape. I kept it out of my finished edges. And I have no stabilizer in here either, guys. This is Kimberbell's Project Batting, but you can also use that other stuff I like.
Dream Cotton.
No, it's a Dream Blend.
It's a Dream Blend.
Yes.
80-20 Dream
There's
Blend
an
works
80-20,
really well.
the 80-20 and the
Skip the
70.
stabilizer altogether
The
with these battings.
80-20 cotton poly blend and the 70-30 cotton poly
They're a
blend.
tighter weave or something.
It's the blend of the poly and the cotton that makes for a nice stabilizer. So if you are going to do it with straight batting, I believe Quilter's Dream makes a 70-30 blend and an 80-20 blend.
80-20 is what
And-
I like. I
And they
think.
work really well.
They do, and I've now skipped the stabilizer completely.
And rumor is that blend is actually repackaged and renamed for other designers under fancier names and costs more.
So I'm going to stick this in it. Now I can tell you what I did is I went a step further than the normal person because I'm not normal. We
I
all
always
know
forget how
that.
big that hoop is till I'm looking at it.
But you can do this in any hoop, Brent.
I
At this
know.
point, I can hoop this. And all of this is already together. And I don't have to put it together after,
And
which
you
I
know,
hate.
And then you don't have to figure out how to sew it together and all
I
that.
forgot
yeah.
to give you my stick. I need to give you my stick.
She didn't give me her stick. No, that's what she said?
There you go.
You're
Now-
you're
I'm
slipping.
sleeping. I'm sorry.
Eddie, can you switch to my camera for a minute? I mean my computer? Okay, here's one of my chickens, okay, that's going in my placemat. This is Embrilliance Essentials that I'm in right now, so it's not the free one. However, we talked about this last week and no one remembered, so as I went down to isolate what was going on, well, let me do the stitch simulator. See this little arrow up here, guys? I'm going to do it slower because last week I did it too fast. If I click on that, I now have my stitch simulator active, which means I can go along here and see how this is going to stitch out. See what this is doing? Placement line for batting. Guess what I don't need?
A placement line for batting?
Yeah.
Because you have it all basted?
Yeah, I don't need it. It's all ready to go. So I can skip this step. I can ride right by it. Then guess what it does? A tack down stitch for my batting. Guess what I don't have to do?
Skip.
Now,
Skip to do
Now-
my loo.
in Embrilliance, can you actually remove those steps from the stitch out process?
In Essentials you can, and that's what I did.
Okay, that was
In
not in the basic
Essentials,
one.
not in the basics, but
Okay.
the Essentials is only like 130 bucks,
140,
maybe
yeah.
Is that the one?
140
Is
bucks.
that the one you pay for?
Yes.
Yes, the
That's
first
the
level
first
you
one.
pay for. It's the one that allowed me.
Okay, that's what I was asking. Okay, so the one that first level, it will allow you to remove steps. Okay.
Oh yeah, and it allows you to. Where am I, Ed? It allows you to create those applique shapes,
The SVG files.
the SVG files to cut out on.
And really, $120 for digitizing stuff is
Look at this.
really cheap. Or
Look at this.
150.
So now I'm not even. I'm like, I didn't make 10 of these. I'm cutting out my chickens this way. It also allowed me. So just to back up to how that's done to create the SVG files. I am able to, let's just do this. Let's do it the old-fashioned way. I'm going to keep going. Watch. This is the background quilting that it does on that chicken. I could have decided not to do the background quilting this way, and I could have done this whole thing that way, but I didn't. I left it in because I think it's cute little wires. But we do have this pattern on the luminaire. Now, see, this is a placement stitch. See that for the chicken? Does everyone see that?
Yeah.
What that does is tell, if I change that placement stitch and call it applique position,
Then that makes it a
I'm going to
SVG
change.
file.
I'm going to change to my preferred Felani. Okay, so here's my chicken. If I come down here, this is not applique, right? That was my first basement line.
Yep.
That was my tack down of my batting. Oops, sorry, I have to come out of here to show you the next one. When you start to see, oh man, Becky's clicking. Oh, you know why? Because
Just go
I'm up
quick.
here.
Just go crazy clicking things.
I'm up here. No, you know why? Hang on.
Just click it. It's like when the printer doesn't
No,
work
I
and you
like
keep
to
clicking
see
print,
my
and then when you
preferred
finally
colors. There, that's what I like.
you ever do
Oh,
that?
I think I already changed this one. That's why I can't do it again. This was me playing. Darn it. Well, what you can do is this guy right here, hot pink, I know is a placement line because it gets repeated over and over and over again. See, it says hot pink birch, hot pink birch, hot pink birch, hot pink birch.
Yeah.
Those are placement line tack down, placement line tack down. So I can go into my hot pink right here. When I click on it down here, I can say either there's a color tab or there's an applique tab, and I simply say it is applique position. I do that to all my hot pinks. When I'm done my last hot pink, I do a save all, and it saves all my SVGs for the entire chicken on one little file. All of it. Not onesie twosies. All of it. Yes.
Okay.
All right. So
Did we
that's
do
what
this
I did.
last week?
We did, but nobody remembered it.
Okay.
So that's why I decided to cover it today. The
It's like-
other
it's-
thing
it's
is,
like when you're watching a documentary and they go to commercial break and then you come back from the commercial break and repeat everything they said before the commercial break. So in an hour documentary, they gave you 5 minutes worth of info.
okay, well, what else I can do with Essentials is if I know I'm putting adhesive on my chickens, which I am because it's a placemat, I can also go and delete all my tack down lines. I don't need to keep them. I can either bypass them on my machine or in Essentials I can go delete, 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 delete,
And
delete, delete, delete.
can you show us
And
how
they're
you would
gone.
delete it real quick? Because I'm interested to know.
I
that.
would
mean,
click on it like that,
yeah.
and I would say, whoops, my mouse. Ew. Edit,
And delete.
delete.
Oh.
Or use my delete key, and it's gone. Bada bing, bada boom, it doesn't exist
And
anymore.
Control Z is an undo, I hope.
Well, the undo is right here.
Yeah, but is it Control Z?
I don't know.
Yeah, that's
I don't use those shortcuts very often.
that
Because I
was-
have so many different pieces of software. I
But
work
like
in.
Control Z is like the universal undo, though.
Yeah. Okay,
Because-
it is. You're right.
Because I
So
undo a
that's
lot of
how
stuff 'cause
easy
I'm
it is.
awful at this
But
sort of thing.
but another reason I love this more than anything is when I'm playing around is sending it to my machine. I've got it done. I'm liking it. It does the save. My Embrilliance file and it does a save on my working file at the same time.
Mhm.
And my working file is defined as a PES file. Can be any machine, but mine's PES. So it saves them both at the same time. But man, if you're lucky enough to have a Solaris or a Luminaire, baby, I don't know if he's on the same network, so it might not work right now.
Probably not.
You just do a send, you give it a name, and off it goes. Bada bing, bada boom.
Bada bing, bada boom,
No
boom,
stick,
boom.
no nothing. It's like whoosh.
Nice.
So I use that feature even if all I am is opening up a budget. Oh, Eric, because I forgot to put him on the same network. They do have to be on the same network. He came from home today, so shame on me. I should have set that up.
Real quick if you want.
Go ahead, set up the network.
Where's Land Wizard?
Don't you have it on your stick?
I do,
Yeah.
but I would like them to see how fast it goes.
Oh.
It's really, do you use this feature, Danny?
What's the pass?
I get lost without it.
I usually sit at my computer, do a bunch of things, save it. I don't go and sew after.
I have to be good about clearing out my wireless send thing occasionally because I'll go in and go, oh, wow, that's getting kind of full. And then I clear it out. So you don't anybody
see
else
if
out
that-
there do this with
you see-
Embrilliance, by the way? Embrilliance Essentials.
See if that's on.
Okay, want to try it again?
Sure, I'm hoping you're on 2.4.
I also can do all sorts of resizing in here before I do my cutting. So if I wanted to make something smaller or larger, I can do it here and then send it to my machine.
And just as a side note, if you're new to embroidery and you don't want to spend $13,000 or whatever on an embroidery machine, one thing to keep in mind is you can get a less expensive machine. I often encourage people to do this if you're not sure.
And get
You start out with like a 1600, which is a fairly inexpensive machine, and invest a little bit of money in the software, because if you're in it for the design work and you want to kind of do your own
still
thing,
didn't work, but we're not going to work on that today.
the software is kind of where a lot of the art stuff takes place, and the machine is more of a tool to realize that artistic vision.
Right.
So if you're just kind of getting into it, and you don't want to spend a lot of money on a high-end machine, if you spend a little bit of money on the software, because the high-end machines have a lot of built-in editing stuff that's really nice, but you can compensate for that with software. So I would really encourage you, if you aren't just looking to get into the embroidery game, just to kind of play with it, and you don't want to spend a lot of money on a super high-end machine, even if you pick up I'm not a big fan of them, like a PE7, like the PE 800. You can pick those up fairly
Because they have
expensive.
smaller screens too, and having your
Yeah.
software next to you allows you to get
Yes,
it bigger and
because
see exactly what's going to go
the
on.
less
That's
expensive
the biggest,
machines have smaller
screens.
Smaller screens. There's a lot of
Yeah.
disadvantage to a smaller machine that the software alleviates that issue.
Right.
And like I said, Embrilliance for $150 is well worth it. And like I said, that's what I would encourage you.
I just love the my brain goes, wait a minute, and you'll see. My brain said, bless our nest. My brain said, I can put this all in one hoop. I got a scanner. So I actually laid out the entire,
There's something that busted there, Eddie?
oops, on my thing. I actually laid out, whoop.
Can you unplug it
You want me to unplug it?
and then plug it back?
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh, you lost my thing? There we go.
Okay.
Okay, so let me blow that up a little bit. I actually laid out the entire placemat as one file. That allowed me to be able to use color sort. And I can use that if I paid attention, because by naming something an applique positioning or applique material, Essentials automatically says, oh, don't fiddle with that order.
Yeah.
That order's important, so don't you be fiddling with that. So you don't have to worry about it's going to do my satin stitch before it puts my chick down. It knows enough. No, the chick has to go first. So when I color sorted this, I saved 54 color changes.
And that's what kind of goes back to the point we're talking about with software, is a lot of the lower end machines don't have that color sort function, and it's a real nice function when you start getting into this sort of stuff.
Yeah, especially when you're doing
Yeah.
3 white chickens. I want to do 3 white chickens.
Yeah. There's no point in swapping every 2 minutes. because-
Right. The
'cause you're
other
doing one
the
chicken at
other
a
thing
time.
it
Yep.
did. There we go. See, it allowed me to put I
The
customized.
stoles.
Yes, I customized
How do your kids feel
my
about
nest.
chickens?
They like chickens.
Okay, I'm just curious.
We all love chickens.
Okay, I wasn't sure if it was like a you thing or if it's like a family thing.
Mhm, we love our chickens.
Okay. Have you told them that they love their chickens? Is that how that works?
No, they really love the chickens. They're very nice. Anyway, stop picking on my chickens.
Oh, we had chickens growing
Anyway,
up. I hated them.
so
the rooster
the
attacked
beauty-
me more than once.
The beauty is what I'm going to show you today is we're just going to do the scan and I'm going to lay in a design. And you're going to, again, if you have the scanner or what do they call it, snap mat? What do they call it on the Stellaire?
I don't know. There's an app for it.
Okay, whatever.
I call it imaging.
But
imaging
those of
function,
you,
yes.
a lot of you have the Dream Machines and the Luminaires, and this is a no-brainer as far as
And if
I'm
there's
concerned.
if there's somebody out there that's a designer for a dime who makes the snap hoops,
Yes,
I'm just gonna throw this out there. If you want to make some money, figure out
How to do it.
How to get the imaging
on a
the
snap,
imaging
yeah.
registration marks on the magnetic hoop because
I-
that would be a
I think it's going to be a money thing. But
yeah that would
maybe not.
really add some functionality to the
Yeah.
Stellaire.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so let's go in. I gave you the stick, I think. Let's go into embroidery. Yep, and we're going to go into the pocket.
I'm gonna open this up.
First, I want to show them wirelessly so they see how much I get in
Okay.
there. I
So if
probably
you
have some
have this-
chickens there too. Let's see.
So that would be your wireless
Yeah, you
download.
scroll down. Oh, we can use one of those. See how I call them my chicken too? Because I know I've done something to it. I'll rename them when I've done something to it. My chicken 1, my chicken 2.
My chicken.
My
pie.
chicken.
My chicken
So,
pot pie.
This is where the wireless stuff ends up. It ends up in here. So let's choose my chicken 1.
My chicken 1.
Yeah, let's choose my chicken. I guess
Okay.
I had it all in here. I didn't need
Where do you
to
want the
this step.
my chicken design? We have them all.
No, not for this example because
Okay.
not everybody has the biggest tool.
Okay,
And I'm trying to show you how easy it is to scan and place it.
but if they scan in place, they have a big hoop.
Well, this is 10 by 16,
Oh, okay.
not 9 by
Okay,
14, not
okay.
8 by 10.
Okay.
Okay. All right, so we got him in, but let's do a scan, Brent. No, no, no,
We don't
no.
want to set it for embroidery.
No,
okay.
I want to do a
Okay, I'll hit
scan.
return.
Right here, do a scan.
We're gonna scan with that button there. We're just
Yeah,
gonna scan
we're
that.
going to scan our background image.
We're gonna
It's
hit
telling us
okay.
it's going to move and hit your belly if it's in the way.
Yeah. My belly's always in
That's
the
a
way.
warning, move body parts, so it doesn't mess up the scan. Also, if you have the Luminaire, you also have the projector as well. But I wanted to show the scan because more people have the scan or the imaging capability.
Yeah, and the Luminaire scans a lot quicker.
There are other ways to do the lining up too, by the way, if you don't have the scanner, but I wasn't. Oh!
Did we just get a hiccup?
We did get a hiccup.
That's awesome.
That's happened to Brother on air the other day too, when they were scanning in a Luminaire.
That's interesting.
It's the second time. I haven't had it happen to me, but hey, it's always a first.
My suspicion is a voltage issue.
You know, that's what they told the people on the video, that it was a voltage issue. And I laughed and I went, there's a boo-boo with that machine. But anyway, let's try it.
The
Let's
voltage
see.
issue is in the machine, not in the wiring here.
Oh, great. That means it's going to keep happening.
No, they just have to do an update to it. It'd be easy fix. Okay, my chicken
Well, make
one.
sure you do that after the show. My chicken.
Okay.
Okay, now let's do a scan.
Let's try scan that again.
They tried it it was on an All Brand show.
Yeah.
They had a brother educator who was trying to show something, and my gosh, like 6 times the machine wouldn't scan.
That's not good.
So Brother Tech got online and said, we think it's a voltage issue. But I thought, and we all thought, they meant with the person's studio. And I said, I never want to be that happening to me. This worked at home just fine.
It might be a voltage issue. No, what it is the machine's
Yeah,
gonna-
Ed, go to something quick. Mercury retrograde. I'm going to give it one more college try. And then if this happened to them, I'm like, no! Ed, you're going to have to edit all this out because I don't want this on there forever and ever and ever.
Hold on.
What are you doing?
I'm putting it on a different circuit.
Oh. Oh, I can't put this in there.
What's that?
I've been doing this at home with no issues, just so you
Yeah.
know.
That's what I thought.
But I did truck this in. Maybe I shook it up a little.
No, it's a lot of times the electronics are very sensitive to voltage input, and so all these machines, it comes out of the wall like 120 volts, give or take. It's not perfect, and then it gets converted to DC voltage in the machine. And then so if it can't get enough volts out of the wall, then it just goes into a reset. And the most energy
That all
intensive
looks good.
process on
Let's try this again.
is going to be the processing of scanning.
Well, looks like we'll be going to the workshop. Everybody in here with their brother is scanning just fine. I mean, with a dream machine. And I said, no, I want to use my Luminaire today. So I parked the dream machine. Come on.
But you'll notice when it
Lumi.
happens, it's on the processing side of it.
It is,
it's
because
a
it
very-
does the scanning.
Yeah, it's a very, so the processing is very, energy intensive.
It finished that part. And then
Yeah.
Come on, please, pumpkin. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, so Brent, what you see on the screen is
Is a chicken
that's not in the right spot.
not even close to the right spot?
So
but we can also, if we want to make that a little bit darker,
Yes, you can.
or you can make it lighter. But we're gonna. Do we want to go darker or lighter?
I liked it just the way it was.
Okay, so I'm gonna leave it right there then. But our chicken is not in the right spot.
It isn't, so now we go to edit.
Now, if you're on a dream machine, I'm just gonna show this to people.
It's
There's-
still edit on
there's-
the dream machine.
Yes, it's edit there, but if you'll notice on the Luminaire, you have layout on the second machine. On a dream machine, the second one is also edit. So the second edit, I always refer to as the memory edit, because it's memory in the corner. That's just a minor,
But on both machines, it is the first
The
edit
first one
you
is
want
edit.
to go to, and you want to use the rotate. So we've rotated the
is
little
that
guy.
the direction we want
Yeah,
to put her?
I'm not letting you stitch her anyway. But
Yeah.
Is she number 1 or number 2?
It's my chicken one.
Well, we can just show how we're not stitching out. But see how he's moving it into position? That's actually number 1, which is over
Do you
here.
want me to put her over there?
Yeah, because she's a different size.
And then you
If
can,
you look at the design, the inside one is an inch bigger
and
than
you
the
can
outside
use your
ones.
arrows, or you can actually drag it with your finger like I just did
Yes,
if you
you
want.
did.
The other thing I'm going to show while we've got this up is if you come up here, our frame size, we're actually on a 10.5 by 16. Okay. The reason why, if previously you had that little outline in there, that was the
Is in the
smaller
way.
hoop. Yeah.
Look at our chicken. Look at our chicken. She's ready to rock and
Do we
roll.
want to show them how it looks with the projector?
Yeah. Let's bring in another chicken.
Bring in another chicken?
This
Okay.
is another. You can bring in more than one.
Okay, that's chicken 1. So now we're going to bring in chicken
Add.
2. And I'm glad you're here to keep me from
Didn't
No.
you
Hitting
name
all the
these
wrong
by
buttons.
now?
No.
my chicken 2.
Chicken 2. Yeah, she's the fatter one.
Does that mean she's happier because she's fatter? Because you're always.
I don't know if that's the truth. Her chickies hatched. That's why she's happy.
And then we can move that over there.
Do y'all see the power of this?
And what's nice too is if you didn't put that in the hoop exactly straight,
Yeah,
you notice up
ro-
here,
You can.
you've got
It looks like it needs a little rotate.
tenth of a degree
Yeah.
increments. But that one probably will just do a 1. Yeah, let's see. That one's off a hair. About like
I'd
that.
move it down a little too.
Well, I was gonna move it down a little
Okay.
after I. But you said rotate it, so I thought I should do that
And I
first.
move it this way a little too.
More over here, yes.
Yeah. Now,
And
do y'all see how cool this is?
Now,
I'm
keep-
not
now-
re-hooping these chickens each and every time. I'm not even getting stabilizer out.
the other thing to keep in mind when
Is
you're
this
placing
wild?
when you're placing stuff, remember your 1/4 inch seam along your.
Yeah, I have tape actually over
Okay,
mine.
yeah, but that's
Some
just-
people will use blue tape there to say, hey, don't go
because
here.
I've seen a lot of people go crazy. They get the
Or
perfect.
they'll draw blue.
Well, they get a perfect thing all laid out, nice and perfect, and then they stitch it out, and it's a block, and they put it right up to the edge. So when they add their 1/4 inch
Yeah,
seam,
that's why I was trying to line it up with this guy down here.
Yep.
And I would still center him more than that because that's how picky I am. But now what you now see, I could load in chicken 3. I could
could.
load in the whole darn thing if I wanted to. But at
But
whatever hoop you have, if you have an 8x8, guess what? You got 4 you can load in.
and then if we go
Now-
to
Want to
Yeah. Now, the other thing is
Show
on the
the
layout.
projector.
Now, this is another thing I'm just going to show real quick while we're
Okay,
here.
okay.
Is when you go to the second layout, you have those same options of move and rotate, but they are going to do both of these at once
Yeah,
because the second one is a layout, so it's going to treat everything. You'll notice
as
if I
a
start
group.
moving it, you see how they're both moving? That's because that's the second layout button is the layout button moves the entire
It's the
everything.
layout of what's on the screen.
Yeah.
That's what got me in trouble with my basting stitch.
Yep. Okay, so and then on this screen here, you also on the Luminaire, you're not gonna have this on a Dream Machine, but this is what I thought this is the thing that wowed me the first time.
Here's
I saw
the
one
thing
of these.
about the projector that I've learned. It is more accurate than my scanner.
Mhm.
It is.
Oh, it's a lot more.
And I
accurate.
don't know why, but it is so accurate.
I'm just gonna move
So
that
sometimes
over
I'll use the
there.
projector and I'll get close, but I have the scanner and I get good, and then I put the projector on and I go, oh, and I'll do one or two this lifter. I'll fine tune it
Yeah,
with the projector.
you've got a small.
Is that showing up on the screen? It is. Yay.
Oops.
Ooh, it was.
Yeah. You've only got a small window of the projector, but it's enough that you can check the edges on things. So
Well,
we
you
can
can
see how,
move it. Move.
Yeah, we can move that. We can move that window
Back to-
around.
Eddie, can you go back to
No, I've
this
got-
camera?
I've got this. Does
Oh,
that,
you're good.
I'll move this camera back.
I wanted to show them how they moved
Okay.
it.
As I make everybody sick, because we're professionals.
Oh, sorry.
All right.
I wanted to show them how easy it was to move the
Yeah.
projector.
So if you're over here, this red rectangle represents your scan
The
area.
projector.
What you're seeing in your projector. So as I move it, you'll notice that my bed moved, and then that changed what we're seeing. on
And
the
I'm
bed.
telling you, you see where my chicken wire is?
And if
That's where it's going to stitch.
If you're watching this at home, you're seeing a little bit of a rainbow go across there. That's an artifact from the camera. You're not going to see that on the machine.
Really?
It's kind of cool though.
You can turn this down a little bit too. I don't know if that will help. No.
You're just changing
I can't see
yeah.
the chicken wire.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can see, but
Well, they
that
can- they can
chicken
see-
wire
they can
is
see the
like
pattern, but I'm
dead
just-
on.
I'm just saying that you can see the pattern. I'm just saying you can see how that rainbow effect.
Yeah.
But you can see.
So you can just sail around with your projector.
And usually I like to check the edges of the just the edge of the
Like to
design.
make sure I'm not going into this gray square
Yeah, like I'm
when
gonna-
he moves it
I'm
down.
gonna move it over there to see where the two
Okay.
come together.
Now this is where there's an intersection. I've got a little too much wiggle room over here for my liking. This is where I'd go. Now I want to center it better this way, but it looks real good along there.
Yeah, and you can all kind of see if you're looking at that, you can kind of see the chicken wire on there.
Yeah.
So you get a really good idea of where that and where you see that projector is what it's actually where it's going to stitch.
If it doesn't, you need to talk to Brent
Yes.
because it's really accurate.
Yeah,
it really
and
is.
it
It is the
can-
most, even more accurate than my laser pointer.
Yeah. And it's going to be more accurate than your image as well because the image you've got unevenness in the fabric. This is going to get away from any sort of bumps and valleys. But that's
Do you want to show? I don't know if I took it out or not. If we go, remember how we talked about last week? You said, "Do you know you can do that applique thing on your sewing machine?" Remember
Yeah.
how I did
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
placement? I might have taken them out on the My Chicken, but I think on the stick you might have Juju stuff. But look to see on,
Yeah, we can
on
double
that
check.
chicken.
so if
There
we go-
is a way to create your applique FCM files from your machines.
Yep.
Now, if you don't have one of the brand new scanning cuts, you will have to download them to a USB stick and then put the USB stick into
In
your
the scan.
scanning cut.
But all scanning
it
cuts will
doesn't.
read the file. You
All
don't-
scanning cuts will read the file.
Yep.
If you're not using a scanning cut and you're using another device like the Silhouette or the Cricut Design Center, Silhouette actually reads FCM files as well
and I can
and outputs to everybody.
And the
So
way you
there's
can-
all sorts of other ways to get around
And the
this.
way you can create that is like I'm just over here doing a color check, and so I'm just going to go through the colors,
I might have taken them out.
and so that's a outline on all that. It looks like you
That's
took them out.
satin stitch.
Yeah.
If you go to the stick, you might find her originals.
Okay.
Remember I
Oh,
I
do
played
want
with
to want to pull this off, or want to just add to it?
either way. No, just pull it off. Yeah. I actually used Embrilliance Essentials to take out all the extra steps I didn't want, because I can. But keep in mind, you could have just skipped over them. I also already had all my chicken shapes, Eddie. I also had all my chicken shapes pre-cut. Here, these are all my chicken shapes, pre-cut, ready to go for this placemat. So I'm not sitting there with scissors or anything. These are very, very accurate. In fact, they're so accurate they drive me crazy sometimes, because what Embrilliance does is it doesn't save the artwork, which is nice and smooth. It saves the actual stitches. So when it cuts, let me show you a close-up example. When it cuts, you'll see on this chicken, for instance, its head is kind of looks choppy. It goes, see that? That's because this file was made from stitches, and that's what the stitches look like. Now, if I do other software, which cost a whole lot more money, which is what I did for Frosty, because it was driving me crazy to see these on the Frosty kits. If I use a different, literally a $1,300 piece of software, I can get rid of the but let me tell you something. Once you put them on here and you do your satin stitch,
Nobody cares.
they're
Nobody can see
perfect.
it.
Yeah.
They really are perfect. And Frosty, we were doing blanket stitch, and that bothered Becky, so she went up.
Okay, if you want
She
to come
didn't
over
use
to
it,
here
essentials.
real quick, I'll just show you this.
Okay. This
pretty
is
quick.
cool if you haven't done this. How many have done this?
Well, so if you come over, I've just loaded up the standard chicken file. I'm going to go into the colors over here, and we've got all this. So that's going to be your placement stitch, or your tack down stitch. Placement tack down, and I don't know what that one's about. I think that's your side neck placement.
Is Eddie sleeping?
But anyway,
Did we get you caught up, Gene? I think he was chewing on a penguin.
so this file here, if we look at our machine, we can see that that's going to be the placement stitch for the whatever they call those. And then there's your tack down. So we can take the placement stitch, and if you come down here to color, we want to change that to is it, embroidery, I believe.
And then scroll down.
Yeah, if it lets me scroll down. Oh, come on. Oh, wait.
I have a stylus on
You
it.
have a
Yeah,
stylus?
it's on the side, I think.
I can't see the bottom of the screen.
You can't see the bottom. Well, that's good. You didn't get to watch the struggle.
Because he hasn't been able to get it down to the bottom. The magic is at the bottom.
Yeah,
There it is. See these
so if-
buttons? How many you know what these do?
So this is going to be, what you've got here is, one of those is that, if you actually highlight that, applique position, to what it calls your applique
See?
position.
Same terminology.
Yep. And that's going to be your applique material.
Yep.
Now, if you'll notice on the applique material, there is a scissor on that. So if I change this to my applique material, wait, actually that's my placement. And then that one, oops, I believe that one there's my actual material. So if you change your applique material, what that will do now is if we export this, save it to a thumb drive,
We're
that
saving that thing.
yeah.
That thing.
Yeah, so if we were to save that to a thumb drive and then plug that into a scan and cut, it would read that applique cut, that applique material function as a
It'll
cut
cut
file.
it out.
And
Cut it out.
there is a way to adjust the
What was the third button?
the third button? That's a good question. I don't know. Let's find out.
You gotta go to
Yeah,
embroidery.
you gotta go embroidery.
You gotta go to the
That's
embroidery
that's your
one.
applique switch. So that's gonna be
Yeah.
the satin stitch.
so that you choose between the satin stitch or the blanket stitch.
Yep.
It will do a blanket.
So that's how you would like
It's
to
pretty cool, and that's without
if-
extra software.
Yeah, so if
that's
you've got
our
a-
machines.
If you've got a scan and cut and you have a Dream Machine or a Luminaire, you can export your cut files from the embroidery pattern
You
itself.
just have to set them first.
Yeah, you
So
have
to identify them as a position or material
and
or
then you
an
save,
applique
yeah,
in this case.
and you save it to a thumb drive. Plug the thumb drive into your machine,
Mm-hmm.
and then it'll just pull those files up for you. And you just manipulate them from there.
Yep,
But that's
and
a-
then you end up with all these little pieces, so you
Yeah.
don't have to sit there and trim in the hoop. Because I don't know about you folks, but I don't like trimming in the hoop. Now, if you got one of those little Clover mini irons, I should have brought one. What I end up doing, and you probably should cover your ears, Brent. What I end up doing is leaving my hoop right here,
Mhm.
and putting my chicken piece down and taking my little Clover mini
Why would I
iron and
close my
go.
ears for that? That sounds like a fantastic idea.
And now I'm not even taking it out of my hoop to put my pieces on.
That's a fantastic idea. Why
And
would I
this
do-
will identify
It's an iron near the machine.
if you do what I did and you combined them all ahead of time and did a color sort. It goes around and it wants all your placement pieces first, so you can sit there and put all, because it's satin stitch. I can put, well, maybe there's 2 that overlap. Most of these do not overlap. So we'll actually stitch out all my placement stitches at once, so I can stick them all down and then go right into embroidery mode.
And then, did we want to show them that, or are we good?
No,
We're good? We had fun?
I'm not letting you put my chickens
I
on.
wasn't going to stitch it. I was just loading it up. But, so yeah.
Yeah,
So yeah. So go over here, Eddie.
scan it one more time with the, is
That's
that my, all,
yeah.
my chickens?
Yeah, that's what I'm
Okay,
going to do.
all right, show
So
that.
this is a version of what she has up on the software, and we're just going to scan our background back in.
If you don't have voltage issues.
We should be. It did it once.
I've never heard of voltage issues. This is that not scanning thing. It's like in the air. Mercury retrograde is back. Is it? Did you
No.
Google it to see if we were going on with Mercury retrograde?
It says it's not.
It's not.
Yeah, but you see, we
It's
switched.
just Becky.
I'm wondering if it's also because this was, if there's something going on with the voltage issue between this and the, because it's into a power strip. But like I said, it's definitely an input issue.
Okay, so how cool is that?
So now if you come back over here, you can see that we've got it scanned in. We have to just,
You have my entire placemat is now sitting on top of my hoop.
and this is interesting actually. You see this weird color up here?
Yeah.
Because of the nature of your
Material?
material, it just kind of gave our scanner a little bit of a hiccup.
Oh. Well, luckily I know I don't have a gray square there.
Yeah. And we're just gonna, but you can see
And
we're
those
gonna
are
line
little
that up.
chicken feet fabric. Get it?
But now, doing them all at once, though,
You only got like a layout to play with.
yeah, you
you
can't
don't have
fine
individual.
tune. Yeah, you can't fine tune it to your.
Heart's content.
Yeah, but that actually looks
Yeah, I
pretty
was
good.
gonna say, come on.
I would say that's pretty
And
decent
come
right there.
down, come down, come
Oh
down.
yeah, I can see where we want to come down. But yeah, that's.
What do you think of that?
And then you just press OK.
Yeah.
And
But
then we-
show the go to the scanner one more time.
The scanner.
Yeah, I want to show off my name tag. Okay.
Oh, the scanner.
I mean projector.
the projector.
My
I'm like,
goodness.
yeah. Okay.
All right.
Oh yeah, so this actually worked really good because what we're going to do now is bring this over here.
Yeah. Just like that.
Wait,
Right there, right in the middle. There I am.
Yep, so you can kind of see.
See?
See how that's
See?
lined right up in the.
I could go down a little bit, but that's pretty darn good.
But if you can see now that we got a really good idea where that's at. That's where the scanner
That's
comes in super
really
handy.
that's really will end up too.
Yeah, and
Does a
that's
good job of
exactly
that.
where we'll stitch out, and you can kind of see that on the. And that actually comes out really good. And we'll just bring it over here.
So I hope what I've done is have you start to think about. I mean, there's so many neat things out there, and we automatically just follow the instructions.
Yep.
They have to be written that way because the whole world doesn't have the bigger hoops.
And the
They're
fancy
not going to
machines.
make money if they keep saying, well, here's the 10 by and the 12 by and So more often than not, you're going to get these individual little squares. And you sit there, I've done it. I've done every Kimberbell quilt project the way they've told me to. Guess what I'm not going to do again? I'm done. This is so much faster and so much easier, even if you don't want to do adjustments in the software.
Yeah.
Just to superimpose it and then jump on the stuff you don't want. But
Yeah.
for me, whoo, color sort.
Yeah, and as a,
Ooh.
kind of as a side note too, it's not going to do us any good here, but there is a color sort button. I know
Does
this.
that keep track of applique positions though? I
If
don't
you
believe
went,
it
if you went
does.
through and did the applique, I imagine it would.
I'll have to test that because
But-
I'm not so.
but
I
this-
don't want to do.
yeah.
I'm used to essentials, man. It's
Yeah,
under 150
But there is a
bucks.
color. There is a color sort option built into the machine.
There is. I have not had a lot of good luck with it in that it just what.
My experience with it is if you're doing like a bunch of little things, it works great. I have not really played with it with applique.
Okay.
But if you were doing like Like,
Like-
I know like Mercy
like-
does, we'll do like a bunch of little keychains.
But I have to have my green leaves. Ed, can you show my computer again? I have to have this color before this color.
Yes.
It's underneath it. I have to have these before these because they nest up underneath it. So
Well,
these come after my eggs are put down.
the way color sort works best on the on this is if it's all the same pattern. So say you're trying to do, are you doing you've got a key, I'll use keychains because people like to do those little embroidery keychains. You can get like a dozen of them on one of these hoops.
Right.
So you could do them in a dozen individual keychains, or if you color sort it, it will do all the colors at once for each one. But
Know
it,
what I would do?
but it would keep them in order. But with different patterns, I'm not sure how that would work
Y'all
out.
know what I would do?
What would you do?
Use the border function. 2-in-1. It splices them all across the screen. Then
Yeah.
I know my color sort's going to be right.
Yeah.
It keeps it doesn't mess with my order. Color sort can mess with my
Yeah,
order.
it can, yes.
Does mess with my order actually. But if I have to make 12 keychains, I'm putting in one and I'm replicating it using my border
Yeah.
feature, and it will
Oh, that
do
makes sense,
all
yeah.
of step 1, all of step
Yep.
2, all of step 3. Bada bing, bada boom.
That makes even more sense than color sort. But it does have color sort if you want to
I
mess with
think
it.
so. Color sort's dangerous.
It is, yeah. Always double check check your stitch out before you go crazy
Yeah.
with it.
Yeah, I've been burned before.
But anyway,
It-
is that all we got today?
Yes, I thought that was a lot.
It was a lot, but I want to make sure we got everything.
I just didn't think of this before.
This is fun.
Probably all you out
Okay.
there go, well, Becky, we don't know where you've been. We do it like that all the
Hmm.
time.
Well, if that's the case, then
Then you should have come and shared it.
yeah. Anyway, thank you for joining us for another episode of Shenanigans with Becky and Brent. Join us again next week for this same excitement. Remember, so on and be excellent to each other.
Ta-da!